Okay.
There you go.
Hello, my name is Harrison Brill, and today I'll be teaching you a little bit about the sociological imagination. Specifically, we will be taking a look at the media, gender, and family. I'd like to first start out by showing you a clip of the media depicting a dumb dad.
Hey, Mom! What are you doing? What is that? What is this?
It's a special paste I invented to replace socks. We're dipping our feet in it.
Why?
Because we can't find socks that shape to our feet. We're sick of it.
Sick of it.
That's really stupid.
That's the future.
Hanes makes better fitting socks the whole family will love. Guaranteed or your money back.
Alright, so what do we see going on in this commercial? What we see is an incompetent dad who is unable to function without his wife. Although comedy is used as a marketing technique, there's a clear underlying message that this father, and many fathers like him, are too incompetent to take care of a task as menial as finding socks that fit himself and his own child. Here we see dads as unfit to care for their children, and in general, pretty stupid. Next clip I'm going to show you is a media depiction of the overbearing wife.
Yeah, I'm married. Doesn't matter. You do that for me? Really? Yeah, I'd like that.
Who are you talking to?
It's Jake from State Farm. Sounds like a really good deal.
Jake from State Farm at 3 in the morning? Who is this?
It's Jake from State Farm.
What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?
Khakis.
She sounds hideous.
Well, she's a guy, so.
Another reason more people stay with State Farm. Get
Alright, so what do we see going on in this commercial? We see an untrusting relationship and a depiction of the nagging wife. Although the dynamic between this married couple is humorous in nature, it sends a clear message about what is typically expected when a man is on the phone late at night, which is that he is cheating on his wife, girlfriend, partner, etc. The last clip I'm going to show you kind of pokes fun at the existing gender roles that exist in our society.
The offense really needed to score here, but this defense just isn't giving an inch. It's down to this last play. Interception! He's across the midfield. He's at the 40. The 30. 20. 10. Touchdown!
There are two sides to GoDaddy. The sexy side, represented by Brett Raffaelli, and the smart side that creates a killer website for your small business, represented by Thelma. Together, they're perfect.
Alright, so what did that clip tell us about the state of modern gender roles? What it tells us that we have clear expectations of what men and women should and should not be like. So on the very bare surface, one could view these videos simply as commercials that have very little additional meaning. However, when we employ the sociological imagination, we can begin to see how media like this affects the social threads of society. So in setting the stage for the sociological imagination, I want to talk briefly about the book, The Sociological Imagination, written by sociologist C. Wright Mills. In this book, the three core components of the sociological imagination are history, biography, and social structure. He describes history as why society is what it is and how it has been changing for a long time and how history is being made in it. He describes biography as the nature of human nature in society, what kinds of people inhabit a particular society. And finally, he talks about social structure, which is how the various institutional orders in a society function, which ones are dominant, how they're kept together, how they might be changing, and so on and so forth. So what is the sociological imagination? The sociological imagination is a term coined by sociologist C. Wright Mills. It explains the capacity of individuals to connect their personal troubles to public issues. So basically I summed it up as that nothing we do happens in a vacuum, and that nothing we do is unaffected by social institutions. Mills describes the sociological imagination as the vivid awareness of the relationship between experience and the wider society. So what are these social institutions he's talking about? A brief definition of social institutions is a collection of statuses, roles, norms, values, and social organizations that are organized to meet some societal need. So for this presentation, I'm focusing on how media affects the social institution of family and gender. One of the most widely held human beliefs is that hard work and dedication will always bring about better life and success. However, under the sociological imagination, we find out that for many people, this is not true. The vast majority of us exist within this wheel of institutions, which is to say that every decision we make and every action we take is in some way or form affected by one of these social institutions. Those who are unable to think sociologically see their lives and the lives of others existing completely outside of this wheel. But it is hard to deny the effects that each one of these institutions has on every one of our lives. So let's take a look at the social institution of media. The media is a powerful institution that affects the lives of virtually everyone in the world. Whether we like to believe it or not, it is fully capable of shaping our thoughts, beliefs, and ideologies. So take a moment to consider the overt and underlying objectives of the various forms of media in our lives. The overt objectives of the media are primarily to sell products and to entertain. This is a very simple way of looking at the role of media in our lives. However, when we employ our sociological imaginations, we can see that it is a multifaceted vehicle of racism, sexism, and basically any other sort of ism one could think of. According to a Nielsen report, children aged 2 to 11 watch over 24 hours of TV per week, while adults aged 35 to 49 watch more than 33 hours per week. So we're watching a lot of television, and it has a lot of influence on our lives. So how does media affect the institution of family? Using the sociological imagination, we can look at how TV advertisements are affecting the modern family structure. We all know that each family comes with their own set of personal troubles, but when looking at public issues and how they relate to families, we have to ask ourselves, how does the social institution of media affect these personal troubles? So, in thinking back to the clips, what sort of messages are commercials like the sock commercial sending to the masses? The message is that men are incompetent and the family structure would collapse without the constant supervision of the female. And what sort of message was a State Farm commercial sending about the state of modern relationships? Women are untrusting, nagging shrews? Although this is not always the typical experience of families and couples, the constant stream of media is slowly leading our TV-watching nation to believe so. We can reach this conclusion by thinking sociologically, or by using our sociological imaginations. These types of commercials and messages are influencing the social institution of family in a negative way. When looking at the social institution of gender, we know that gender roles permeate many facets of day-to-day living in America. Both genders have their own personal troubles, but again, in looking at their public issues, we have to ask ourselves, how does the media, specifically TV ads, exacerbate these gender roles, and what is the result? The very fact that the video clip from BuzzFeed is satirical in nature says a lot about what we expect from men and women in our society. If we look at these types of advertisements from a very pragmatic standpoint, we can say that the commercials are using the effective sex sells marketing strategy to sell their product. When we use our sociological imaginations, we can see that these types of commercials are very sexist and detrimental towards females across the board. Apparently sex only sells when it's the females doing the selling. So to wrap it up, I just want to talk briefly about why the sociological imagination is both a good thing and a bad thing. So it's a good thing because it allows us to see the world in a more expansive and comprehensive manner. But it's also a depressing thing at times because it makes us starkly aware of the limitations of humans and the seemingly futile nature of all of our actions. So to conclude, I just want to leave you with a quote from C. Wright Mills that reads, "Neither the life of an individual nor the history of a society can be understood without understanding both." Thank you.
Nice job.